Who else did I see? Prof. Philip's Choice. Thanks for the cool dude host. Appreciate it. Alright, well, the notifications will at least be off on the stream. So, maybe turn it off and on again. You know what? You know what? Okay. So, I worked on this all day. We're going to turn the music off. I've been working on it longer than today, but I put this presentation together today. So, I've only gone through it once, so hopefully it goes... Oh my god, I don't have to unplug it. Hopefully it goes smoothly. I have a big cup of water here to keep my vocal cords nice and lubricated. Lubricated? Yeah. Ah, rip, prof. I can't even talk. Okay. I'm also slightly nervous. So, yeah. Mayweather did win. That did happen. Alright. So, we're going to start off. I just wanted to start off by running through some guidelines with you guys, alright? First things first. Yeah, I know, right? Koopa, I have to fill the cups myself. First things first, I am not a counselor, alright? I do have some counseling training, but I am not a counselor. I do not work in that field currently. So if you do need help, if you need somebody to talk to, please contact a health professional. I'm willing to listen. What's up, Pro Buzzard? I'm willing to listen, but this is what I'll tell you in the end, to go and talk to a professional. This presentation is pre-prepared. I will try as best as possible to conversate with you guys. If you guys have questions or if you have points you want to make, feel free to type them into the chat. If I can, I will get to them if possible, but like pre-prepared. So hopefully, you know, we can get some good chatter going on about that. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. We can save some time at the end to do that before I switch to a game. Feel free to share your experiences, but please, if people are sharing, be respectful. Mods will time you out very quickly if anything turns disrespectful. But one thing I really want you guys to know is there are some topics when you talk about mental health that are very upsetting and triggering for others, such as self-harm and suicide. So please, if you guys want to talk about that stuff again, please go to a professional. This is not the place to discuss that. You may have conflicting or different information from me. If you see or feel that something I share is incorrect or you disagree, feel free to DM me. We can do another web show in the future to talk about what we've learned since this web show happened. I'm more than happy to discuss with you guys. I don't think that I'm 100% correct in anything. So if you guys have any comments that you want to make, please feel free to DM me. Hopefully,
oh baby, thanks for the cool dude host.
Calberty Games, thank you so much for the host. I know Cora was working and putting together a list of helpline numbers for me. I don't have it right now because I don't know where she is, but hopefully she will show up. But I will post those on Twitter and on Discord. But you guys can find them very easily if you just Google local helpline. And if you guys, because sometimes what ends up happening to you is when you are having feelings, if you are depressed, that stuff usually, it sneaks up on you in the middle of the night. And yeah, it's a mental health and gaming web show, Calberty. It sneaks up on you on the middle of the night and you don't always have somebody there to talk to. Helplines are amazing. They usually have counselors at the ready, so I highly recommend you look up your local numbers, and we will be able to provide those for you soon. All right. So that's that. So that's all I ask for you guys, guidelines wise. Who am I? Why the heck should you listen to me? I mean, you don't have to listen to me, but why I suggest you listen to me. I mean, for one, I'm a streamer. I've been streaming for about 2 years now. I just recently got partnered here on Mixer. I was on Twitch before and made the switch about 6 months ago. So really happy to be here. I'm also a gamer. I've been a gamer my whole life. Since I can remember, I've always been playing games. I hold a bachelor's degree in recreation therapy. I specialized in children and youth and criminology. And I did a 4-month internship at a acute psychiatric facility. I've also been a youth worker for like a bazillion years, 10 plus years. I work in community rec, and I did some mental health programs. I worked with youth with anxiety, youth with schizophrenia, and I worked in a program for kids whose parents have mental health problems, or have access to mental health services. All right. So what are we going to talk about? we're going to talk about depression, we're going to talk about anxiety, and then connected to anxiety, we're going to talk about anger. And then we'll just go over some tools and resources quickly. I have a few things that I didn't include that if anybody is interested in learning more about, I can throw it into Discord or something. But yeah, that's kind of the agenda. I'm thinking this will take us about half an hour to get through, as long as I don't. Thank you so much, Calbrady. As long as I don't like talk too much. All right. So let's jump in. The big D, depression. Not the big D you guys were thinking about. So what is it?
Oh, baby. Thanks to the cool dude host.
Chris Sandals, thank you so much. Yes, Amity, I say the big D. So Sandals, you can post those numbers for me. Maybe Prof can make a command. So, all right, we're gonna jump right in. So just so you guys know, I have some notes on this
baby.
screen.
Thanks to the cool dude host.
This is gonna be so great for all my friends who have no idea what's going on when they watch this on YouTube later. My notifications are playing, so when people host me and when people follow, there will be a little silliness this time, but next time we'll have that squared away and it won't happen. But yeah, depression. So what is it? It's felt many different ways by different people. You can experience... Oh yeah, that's Hardcore Sandals intro music. Okay. Serious topic we're talking about here, guys, all right? But you know, you kind of have to laugh about it sometimes. Okay, so ways people experience depression: low self-esteem, low motivation, feeling down and sad beyond normal means, extreme guilt, feeling unworthy. And this is, so one thing too, like, don't look at these symptoms and be like, oh my God, that's me, like I am those things. Don't self-diagnose yourself. Go to the doctor and talk to the doctor about it, because we always tend to like lean on the worst side of things. So go and talk to a professional, and they will let you know what's going on. All right. And you can also have physical effects with depression too. So tiredness from sore muscles. That's one thing that really gets me, and sapping your energy. And I'm not talking about rogues, guys. We're not talking about rogues there. Let's hop into some symptoms. Some of you might experience some of these. Sadness, and this is like extreme sadness, and it could be like indirect or direct. So it's something that weighs on you. It could be the loss of a loved one, and the way that you notice this is a change in posture. You know, hunched over, not looking down. How they walk, so their gait, or crying, sometimes sudden and sometimes for no reason. Hopelessness. This is a really important one. This is where the suicidal ideation comes in, and this is where people get stuck, because you lose hope, you feel like you can't get better, and this is typically why people and just delete that. And this is typically why people don't get help. Anhedonia, it's a big fancy word for basically just saying loss of enjoyment, low self-esteem, looking down on yourself, and then suicidal thoughts. So this is actually something that was really interesting that I found out. So what happens when you're deeply troubled, our brain gets relief from thinking about attempting suicide, and it becomes addicting. And like anything else that's addicting, your brain needs to push your thinking to experience that same relief. It needs to go further and further each time. So in ways of like making a plan, acquiring like whatever means you have planned to use. So that's what your brain does, and that's why as you think about it, things get more and more intense. So I'm just gonna put it out there, guys. Suicide is never the right choice. There's no shame in suicidal ideation. If you're having those thoughts, you don't have control over those thoughts. But if you're having those thoughts and you haven't made an appointment to see your doctor, go and see your doctor, like immediately, as soon as you can get in. Your life is worth it, and really at the end of the day, it could be something as small as a chemical imbalance in your brain that's making you feel that way. Rumination, that's basically just like the thought process. If you guys know the game Super Meat Boy, so this is like a perfect example. Super Meat Boy, basically you have to not die, right? There's all these crazy things going on. Thank you. All these crazy things going on that, you know, there's saws that are trying to cut you in half, but unfortunately, life isn't like that. You don't get to keep retrying and thinking through your problems. So don't think of your depression like Super Meat Boy. Just And yes, there is. Yeah, isn't your girlfriend like she's like bandages or something? It's a great game if you guys haven't checked it out. Yeah, just don't try to do whatever you can to distract your mind, whether it's listen to a podcast, read a book. And then irritability and agitation. Your energy's low. Gaming requires energy. You're more likely to be impulsive. And okay, bye-bye, Dusky Buffalo. You're more likely to be impulsive or snap at people. So like your buddy who gets you killed, or even though it's your fault, you snap at your friend for you getting killed in the game. In the game, not real life. All right, social avoidance. Obviously, you withhold yourself from your friends. You don't go out. You stay home. All that stuff. So the important thing here, yeah, it pretty much is, hey, Prof. The important thing here is realizing, like, when you do that, you completely reduce your social support. It just furthers those feelings that nobody cares about you, increases your feelings of hopelessness and worthlessness. So that's what's going on there. So what can you do to help yourself? Again, as we said, seek professional help. That's the number one thing. Medication, antidepressants. For me, it was my iron was really low, so I started taking iron supplements, and that's really helped. Journaling, if you like to do that. Meditation, we'll talk about that more later. Behavioral action, that's just a fancy way for saying get up and do something, go outside. Exercise, there's kind of two benefits here. You reduce the physical symptoms. Yeah, the social avoidance and irritability and anger is something for me too, ProBuzzer, and I'll talk more about that when I talk about my experiences. But the exercise can reduce your physical symptoms, so the soreness, your muscles get loose, you can stretch out, but you also feel less depressed because what exercise does is the happy chemicals in your body get released, and they get released into your brain, and you feel good. Giving or doing something for others takes you out of your head and widens your perspective. We're going to talk about perspective a lot because it's actually something that's really important. It also forces you to get out of the house and socialize. So whether you sign up to volunteer, or you just go and do something nice for one of your friends, you help them move, something like that. Just get yourself out of your room. So perspective, introduce yourself to experiences and situations that change your perspective on life. Challenge your assumptions. We're going to talk more about this, but you have to challenge your assumptions to see to see the other way that things could possibly be. Because a lot of times we get upset, we get mad, we get depressed over something that we just didn't understand. So if you can just kind of question yourself, question why you're feeling sad, question why is this upsetting me so much? Have those conversations with yourself, and that can help. Yeah, work helps keep the positive endorphins going. Getting up and out is a big help for me. 100%, man. Those endorphins, as much as you can get those moving, the better off you're going to be. Okay, so we're going to talk about when gaming isn't fun anymore, because this is like, we've all experienced it, We all love gaming. We're all passionate. We're all opinionated. We're determined. We're intense. And sometimes that intensity can become all consuming. And the community, it's our identity at the end of the day. Being a gamer, being a streamer, it's our identity. So when it gets too much, it can stop being fun. So these are a few things that you can do to keep the game fun. You can take a break from the screen, especially at night. If you have trouble sleeping, one of the things that light does to you is the chemical in our body that puts us to sleep is called melatonin. So if you're looking at a screen, whether it's your phone or your computer, it actually stops your body from producing melatonin. So if you have trouble sleeping, maybe take 2 hours before you go to bed and stop using the screen, read a book or something else, and that should get melatonin going. I listen to a podcast and I'm out in like 2 seconds. Think before you click or type. A lot of people, they go on the internet, you're already feeling upset, you go on the internet and you see something that just sets you off and you start typing and you're angry and that guy's an asshole and whatever. Think before you click, especially if you're a streamer. If you are a streamer, don't post on your streaming account. Post on a personal account. I love that command saddles. At the end of the day, like, people are drawn to people that are positive. So if you want people to support and watch your stream, they prefer the positive side. I'm not saying that you can't show, that you're vulnerable, show that you're weak, show that you have mental health problems, or, whatever. Is that why I subbed? It might be Max, who knows? But really at the end of the day, like, you want to keep those things separate. Talk with people who are, you're close with, that kind of stuff. But really at the end of the day, if you are a streamer, keep your presence on social media positive, and you can have a second account if you want to vent, if you want to, engage in conversation with people, have that on your personal account. All right. Well, really, actually, the main reason is you sometimes might say more than you normally would if you're looking at a person. Like, think of any time you've had an argument with somebody, usually you would not say the stuff you say online to their face. And the text, if you put on the internet, it's there forever and it can come back to haunt you. So just avoid it. Yes, exactly. Knowing the difference between honest vulnerability and straight toxic negativity. Exactly. Connect with close friends. Spend time offline with people who matter to you. Try something new. Play a game. Like, most of my best friends, they don't play games. So, like, I go to a party with my friends and I don't bring up or talk about gaming at all. Because when I do, like, I just get, like, the washed over face, and, like, they have no idea what to talk about. Like, they ask me some questions, but they don't really know anything about gaming, and they're not, it's not something that it's not a community they know about. So I try to, like, go, like, play sports, go swimming, hang out with their kids, those kinds of things, because those are activities that we enjoy together. But one thing that's really important is, we all have a lot of friends online. I have you guys that I play games with, but it's really important to have that, like, personal, that interaction with an actual person that's right in front of you that you can touch and see and all that. It's really, really important because, as humans, we crave touch. And I'm not talking about, like, kissing and hugging. I'm talking about, like, handshakes, high fives, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you're getting those interactions as well. Relax. How hard is it to relax these days, right? Whatever it is that you do, take a bubble bath, read a book, listen to a podcast, meditate. I personally just started meditating. Hugging is nice too. Hugging is very nice, Pro Buzzard. If you have to take a nap, whatever it is that you do that relaxes you, this is really important. And when you're in a stressful moment, take a check. Take a check of your body. Notice, where are your shoulders, like, up by your ears? Are you clenching your jaw? Are you holding your breath? Take note of all those things. And sleep. Many of us don't prioritize sleep. And, just one more level, and then all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. Make sure you guys are sleeping, because you can fall into really, really deep sleep debt, and it's really hard to dig yourself out of that. So make sure you take advantage of your opportunities to sleep, and then make sure you're eating a healthy diet and, not drinking too much. If you do use other substances, make sure you're not overdoing it. All right. So now what you guys all want to know is how can gaming help us? How can gaming help us? So as humans, we are achievement hunters, and all you Xbox players, and I guess, PC gamers too, we have achievements that we like to chase. Small victories in games, even small ones, they reward us with those same, pleasurable neurotransmitters that we get from exercise. We get those endorphins. Like, I always think about, like, I don't know, you wiped on a raid boss 1,000,000 times, and you and your friends, you finally down it. That, like, feeling that you get, it's amazing. You really can't match it. And people who don't play games don't understand that, right? So you can actually translate that into real life. You can set achievements for yourself in the real world. Say, for example, when you're depressed, you isolate. So you just set some goals for yourself. Okay, you know what? I'm going to call my friend Joe, and I'm going to meet Joe at the coffee shop. We're going to have coffee, right? Or maybe it's, I need to get more exercise, so I'm going to take my dog for a walk 3 times a week, or you're gonna contact an old friend to play a game. Anything that gets you out of your head. Build social circles of people who share common interests. And again, not just people online. Make sure you're also, there's lots of gaming communities in the real world that you can meet up with. We have a bunch here. It's a Twitch meetup group, but they're all super nice people. There's a pub here where you can go and play board games with your friends. Look for those places so that you can still, have your hobby and your common interest. But, it's also fun and it will motivate you to get out. So one of the things that's interesting about our brains, though, is that it craves the progress and achievement. And that's why video games are so addicting for us, right? So if you think about it, think about the intensity of getting your first chicken dinner in PUBG, right? There's 3 people left, your palms get sweaty, your heart starts beating faster. I mean, usually my heart starts beating faster around 20 left, but that's just me. Or finally beating that one level that's held you back for so long. That rush of excitement, the happiness you feel, even if it's just for half an hour, a short period of time, it can still increase your mood. So, they always say, oh, don't overdo it on games. I mean, in moderation, play games in moderation, but don't overlook those tiny accomplishments that we get every day when we're playing games. They do have a lot of value. Also, too, one thing I forgot to mention about the social circles too is if you're struggling with having a sense of belonging, you don't feel like you fit in, you find a group of people who do share your common interests, so that way you can have that sense of belonging, right? I always think BlizzCon is amazing for that. I remember waiting in line at the beer tent to grab a beer and just sitting there chatting with this girl who we just were sharing a barrel to put our cup down on, and we just ended up talking. And actually I was able to give her a few tips on just running different dungeons and how to get points faster and stuff. So that was actually kind of cool. So there's actually some specific games. There's been some research into this. Some specific games that actually will, if you are feeling depressed, that actually will help you. But number one is always go and play games outside. Getting that vitamin D, especially if you live in areas that don't have a ton of sun. Seasonal depression and depression in gamers is often caused by just a lack of sun. And I'm not quite sure the science on it, but from what I understand, you only need about 30 minutes of sun, and it doesn't have to be your whole body. It just has to be your hand, for example. You just need 30 minutes of sun. So if it's chilly outside, bundle up, but your face will be open to the sun and get that vitamin D, because it's crucial, especially in the cold winter months. Animal Crossing. I don't know if any of you have played Animal Crossing. I personally haven't. But the interesting thing about Animal Crossing is when you isolate or when you're feeling down, and I do this. This is one of the ways that I know I'm heading into a depressive episode. Is I start to let things go. Max, as long as the sunlight is getting on your hand, you can stick your hand out the window for 30 minutes. But yeah, you tend to let things go. Your hair gets dirty. You start to smell. Your room gets dirty. You probably got some dirty dishes sitting in the sink for a long time. What Animal Crossing promotes is self-care of your space in the game, improvement of your own space and the world around you, and socializing. And research has stated that even simulating these activities can put your mind on the right track. So maybe there's an online game on your phone or something that you can play that involves some form of keeping your space tidy. Stardew Valley for sure. Stardew Valley for sure, because you got to clear all the rocks so that you can plant your crops. I could definitely see Stardew Valley having some effect in this area too, as well as simulating hard work, right? And Persona 4. I've never seen Persona 4 myself, but one of the things that this game does amazingly is it helps to see our issues in a way that they're part of ourselves, but they're also separate, and that we can conquer these. And then similar to Animal Crossing, it also provides a social aspect. Jackbox, you guys know we play a lot of Jackbox here. We haven't lately, but maybe we need to bring this back in at least once a month so that we can all get our medicine. It's a game you can play in real life on your couch with friends, so it's a great way to reconnect. And it's also, you can play it online through streaming, which is really great. There's also Wii Fit and Dance Central, gets your body moving. I'm sure it's probably pretty hilarious to play on stream. I should do that one time. And again, what will happen is you're exercising and the brain will release those good reward chemicals. So that's great. We always want those good reward chemicals going on. So I actually want to show you guys a game that was made specifically to help people who struggle from depression, who struggle from disease, from physical ailments. It's called Super Better. So we're just going to watch a quick video that shows the creator of Super Better, and she kind of gives you a quick, spiel about what it's about.
I'm Jane McGonigal. I'm the inventor of Super Better. This game is designed to make you stronger, physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially, so you can better tackle whatever real-life personal challenges you might be facing. I know what it means to get super better, because when I was facing the toughest challenge of my life, a concussion that didn't heal properly, this game helped me find the strength that I needed to get through what seemed like an impossible time. I was in a lot of physical pain. I was more anxious and depressed than I'd been in my entire life. I had a hard time explaining to friends and family what I was going through. I didn't know if my brain would ever heal. I didn't know if my life would ever get back to normal. So I invented this game. It seems like a crazy thing to do, to make a game to get better in real life. But I used everything that I'd learned in 10 years experience as a game designer, everything I knew about provoking positive emotion, about strengthening social connections, about building up players' abilities to tackle tougher and tougher challenges without giving up. I used all of that to turn my recovery into a game. The more I played this new game, the happier and more confident and more determined I felt. And as my brain started to heal, I started to see myself differently. I felt more capable. I felt like I had survived a trip to the underworld and come back a stronger version of myself. In other words, I didn't just get better, I got super better.
All right, so that is Super Better. So, some interesting things about Super Better. So, it's a game that you play. Dale McCold65713, thank you so much for the follow. Yes, Max, you are welcome to have your own opinions. So yeah, the game Super Better is a game that you play in the real world and you beat challenges, and it's a game to promote 4 areas of resilience, with 2 of them being mental and physical resilience. So there's just different tasks that you can do, and those all promote yourself in these areas to be more resilient. So for example, one of the challenges would be for you to, you could either, I think one of them was stand up and take 3 steps, or put your hands above your head for 5 seconds. Okay, so those are examples of some of the things you can do. What's really exciting and why this game is so popular is because participants have reported up to 6 symptoms of their depression disappearing after only 6 weeks of play. Because you're doing these activities to help build this resilience, up to, I think they even said in the study, 6 to 8. So that's a lot. That is a lot. You can completely turn your life around just by playing this game for 6 weeks. Anxiety decreased. Life satisfaction, social support, and self-efficacy was found to also increase in participants. And so self-efficacy is basically the belief in yourself to succeed. And all they had to do was just consistently participate and complete the activities. So really, really exciting research that they're putting into this. So I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about my own experiences. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but this is why perspective is so important. You know, and I'm going to kind of sugarcoat it a little bit. But if you guys have any questions, I can go into more depth at a later time. But a few months ago, I went through one of the worst bouts of depression I've ever had. I've had depression my whole life since I was a child. It's a long time, but a few months ago, it was literally the worst depression I've ever experienced in my life. And it did result in a suicide attempt. Obviously, I wasn't successful because I'm still sitting here, but I was hospitalized for a day. That's when I realized, yeah, holy crap, I need to go and get help. So the first thing I did, I made an appointment with my doctor. I got on medication, and once I got on the medication, it helped me realize how much my behavior was impacting my life. You know, I was closing myself off from friends. I was anxious about collaborating with other streamers because my depression was giving me low self-esteem. It was making me worry that I wasn't worthy of my friends, that I wasn't that other streamers don't like me, and that nobody would want to work with me. I started challenging myself and thinking why do I feel that way? Why do I feel this way? There's no way that this is true. People seem to like me. My friends, you know, when I had my suicide attempt, you know, a bunch of my friends, you know, came to the hospital, made plans with me to make sure that I was okay and all that. So, you know, I did start to see you know, people do care. It's just my brain. They call it the voice of depression. So the voice in your head that tells you that you're worthless, that tells you, you know, that you don't matter. I worked on, 1, challenging that voice, and 2, questioning. I took a few risks. I changed my thinking. I still have those feelings sometimes. It's not perfect. I screw up. I screwed up yesterday, and I took my medication. I usually take it at 9 in the morning. I took it at 3 o'clock. I took my medication today on time, but tomorrow I'm probably gonna feel a little crappy. So I still get those thoughts sometimes. I still doubt myself. You know, but overall, I've seen an improvement in my health. Thanks for your honesty, Max. My suicidal thoughts are gone, and I'm happier and I'm more connected to my community. So all those things about perspective, and actually it's funny because I asked my doctor told me, she gave me a DVD to watch, and she told me I had to, what's up, Scribbles? She told me I had to change my perspective on life. She's like, you have to think about how you look at life, and you have to change it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm fine. I love life. I have a great perspective. But then I actually sat down and thought about it, and I'm like, okay, what do I think about life right now? It's hell. It's shitty. I hate it. Okay, maybe I do need to change my perspective on life. So that was really, really important advice that I was given. So I had another streamer who was very, very lovely and also shared her experience with me with depression. So I just want to read this for you. I can say that streaming has affected my depression, some in negative ways, but mostly positive. If I'm having a bad day or I feel really low, my community knows just how to cheer me up and make my day so much better. I try to stay away from sad games when I stream, as it does affect my mood and can make me feel more upset. Some days it's even impossible to stream because I've had a bad day. The worst part is I feel horrible because I feel like I'm letting my community down when I don't stream, and it's hard to help people understand this aspect of my life. If you have depression and you're a gamer and a streamer, be aware that it can be stressful and it can affect your mental health, but also know when you need time to take care of yourself. You come first. Yeah, really, really important stuff there. So that self-awareness piece, knowing to not play sad games when you're streaming. So it doesn't
baby.
It doesn't
Thanks
impact
for the cool
you.
dude host.
Thanks so much, Drummond, for that cool dude host. And also too, like being honest and saying, you know what, I need to take a day off. I've had many streams where I've had to tweet and say, you know what, guys, I can't do it today. I can't do it. I take the day off. There's other days where I've literally been like in tears bawling. And then I've, washed my face and hit the start stream button and, it all kind of goes away. But you really have to be self-aware with your stuff. I can confirm she has missed streams. Oh my God, Max. I swear to God. But it is hard to make people understand what's going on. But just be self-aware in yourself. Know that you need the self-care and take time for yourself. You are the number one priority. All right, so we are now moving on. We're not going to talk so much about anxiety. This is going to be a little bit more brief than the depression piece. Depression's always a little bit bigger. We are going to go a little bit in depth into anger. But, all right, so anxiety, what is it? It does get a bit better, yeah, as you practice. So anxiety is normal. Everyone experiences anxiety. For example, on a roller coaster, you're going up the hill, you hear the click, click, click of the chain as it pulls you up, you get to the top, you start cresting over that hill, and then suddenly you're rushing down and your stomach is in your mouth and everybody's screaming. That's an example of anxiety. A game of PUBG, another example of anxiety. A job interview. Nobody is immune from depression or anxiety. Every single person in the world, it doesn't matter your socioeconomic status, it doesn't matter where you're from, everybody is susceptible to developing anxiety and depression. It's adaptive. Anxiety is actually a system in our body that helps us deal with real danger. It prepares your body to defend yourself. So anxiety itself isn't dangerous. All the sensations that you feel when you're anxious are meant to protect you, not to hurt you. But where the damage comes in it's the damage of stress, the lack of sleep, all those things that the anxiety causes, that's when it becomes damaging. One thing to keep in mind if you are anxious, if you've experienced panic attacks, the feeling doesn't last forever. It's temporary. It will pass. And that is actually one of the things I tell myself, when I've had a few panic attacks. That's one of the things I've just gotten into my head where it's like, it's okay, everything's fine, this will pass. As soon as I start to feel it, I just start repeating that in my head. Deep breathing, calming your body down. If you've never had a panic attack, like it literally feels like you can't get enough air in your lungs. It's literally the worst. Like I would not wish that on anybody. It's the worst feeling ever. Anxiety is mostly anonymous. People don't know when you're anxious unless they're like a really good friend or you've told somebody, hey, these are my symptoms. People don't know if you're anxious or not. You can be calm, cool, and collected on the outside, but then on the inside, you're a duck on a pond with his little feet, Yeah, anxiety is the worst, Max. So I keep getting distracted by chat. Ugh, chat. So, anxiety can become a problem. Anxiety is a problem when your body reacts. Okay, so sorry. It becomes a problem when your body starts reacting when there isn't any danger. Like, it's like having a overly sensitive smoke alarm in your house, and this can cause extra stress on your body. So that's really when the anxiety becomes a problem. So anxiety is also thoughts. So, for example, what if I forget what I'm going to say during my mental health and gaming web show? What if I get killed and let my team down in this game? It's behaviors, finding an excuse to get out of it, getting angry, getting upset. It's also the physical symptoms, though. It's the stomach ache, the cold sweat, the racing heart, feeling dizzy or lightheaded, the tight pain in your chest, numbness and tingling, and then heavy legs. So the heavy legs, if you guys have heard of fight or flight is what kicks in from anxiety and from sensing danger. That usually is what causes the heavy legs. So my experience with anxiety. So I just found out this year. I never thought I had anxiety, but I found out this year I actually have, and right now I have very severe anxiety. I unknowingly, I thought my symptoms were related to my depression. I was withdrawing from my friends. I wasn't going to parties I was invited to. If I did go, I was like sitting outside of my car for half an hour, working up the courage to go inside. And then if I didn't go out, I would just sit out. Like if my wife went out without me, I would just sit here and I would be like, I would get upset with myself for not going, and then my wife would come home and we'd get in a huge fight about it. I was angry all the time. I couldn't sleep. The rumination in my head was just circling. The same thoughts over and over again, which then made me late for work, which then made me anxious and depressed. Like, do my coworkers hate me? Am I going to get in trouble for being late again? I was too afraid to ask for help. And a lot of this relates to my depression too. I didn't feel like I was, all right, later, prof. I didn't feel like I was sick enough to get help. And the best advice I have for you is, if you experience any of the symptoms I just described, go and see professional help and, get assessed by your doctor and find activities that relax you. And I prefer mindfulness meditation, but a variety of things can help you. For example, playing Dead Rising and just killing zombies for 20 minutes. It's great. I love doing that. Max, you can definitely share a story if you want after. So now I want to share a story from Ruthven. Well, one thing is gaming can indeed be both a positive and negative for mental health. One positive way it's helped me was in being able to connect with others. Gaming guilds can give you a sense of belonging. Gaming friends can help you feel not so alone and also wanted. A negative, though, is that it offers escapism. So instead of learning how to allow ourselves to feel anxiety and learn how to cope with it, we run from it. It can, like some things, end up being a crutch. Like those like me who can develop agoraphobia by severe avoidance of the things that make us anxious. So that's really important, what he said there. It's learning what makes you anxious and then how to cope with it. So for me, as soon as I start getting anxious, I take 10 minutes, Koopa can confirm, and I meditate for 10 minutes. Or I do some deep breathing, right? So really, really good point there. Shikari is another streamer here on Mixer. This is her experience with anxiety. So for a basic explanation, I first started streaming because of my anxiety disorder. It gave me a way to meet new people in a safe place. I've enjoyed streaming because I'm in control. By that I mean if my anxiety is getting bad, then I don't have to stream or can step away from stream for a while. This gives me more security because it allows me to put myself out there while still knowing that I can escape if I need or want to. It has also helped with my anxiety tremendously because I met some of my best friends through streaming and gaming. Being able to share games which I enjoy with others has also helped me build more confidence. Overall, gaming and streaming has had an extremely positive effect on my life. So that's really important too, because knowing yourself, again, that self-awareness piece, but then knowing, like, I have control over this environment. I don't have to do this if I don't want to, and I can take a step back. And then being able to meet friends, like challenging yourself. I know I have anxiety. I know that I have social anxiety, but I know I need to have social contact. So I'm going to challenge myself to go out and meet some new people, whatever it is. If you're going to a convention, if you're going to a meetup, whatever it is. So let's just jump in. Anger is the last topic for today. So anger is something that we often overlook when thinking about our mental health issues. Anger can have huge impacts on our social and personal relationships. We all had that one friend who raged too much, made everyone feel uncomfortable, would throw the controllers. We throw controllers, we punch walls, we get in fights with our loved ones. And the problem is that anger affects the way that we think and how we see the world around this. What's up, Little Big Savage? How you doing, man? Okay, I want to make it really clear, though, guys. It's okay to be angry. Anger is a feeling that we all experience. It's what you do when you're angry that matters. So how do we know when we're getting angry? You might feel, you might feel your head get hot. You might get, like, your heart rate might go up. You might have tightness in your muscles, a stiff neck, or jaw from clenching, red in the face. Really learn what it is that your symptoms are, because everybody's symptoms are different. So what I want you guys to think about is think about, thank you so much, Unbeaten Moon 879. I'm just gonna let that play out. Next time, guys, I swear to God, there will be no notifications. At least there's not a dancing hot dog on the screen right now. Okay, so think about your favorite game. What mechanic is built in to help you along the way? Does your controller rumble when enemies are near? Is there a fillable alert bar that tells you if your enemies can see you when you're trying to assassinate them? They're put there so that you're aware of what's happening, like what's coming around the corner. Training yourself to recognize when you're getting mad and allow yourself to calm down is vital in maintaining our mental health. I challenge you to explore how you experience anger and what mechanics you can put in place in your own life to help you notice these things. Little Big Savage, the interaction button will be on when the web show's over, okay? So why do we get angry? And why do we stay angry? We see a lot of anger in video games. For example, Trevor from GTA 5. When he gets angry, he responds with violence. Winston's Primal Rage ability. When he's angry, he gets super strength to defeat his enemies. Jason Voorhees gains rage to be able to catch the counselors faster. Anger makes your character look more badass, more dangerous. It becomes a sign of strength in video games, and that can skew how we respond and see things in our everyday lives. So this is what it all comes down to, guys. Our anger is impacted in how we view and respond to the situation. So remember, I said anger affects how we think and how we see the world around us. And like, this is something that I had a problem with, and why my last relationship didn't go so well. I had a just completely irrational anger problem, and I didn't know at the time that it was all related to my anxiety. But when something happens in a game, a stream, or a chat that makes us angry, our fight or flight response kicks in, right? You miss a shot, your teammate gets killed, they instantly jump on the mic and cuss you out, right? How do you explain to this person you just made a mistake? Maybe your hand's sore, you've been playing too long, or straight up, like, you just missed. You made a mistake, you screwed up. You have a few options that can help you deal with the situation. You can get mad and yell and scream into the mic. You can call the guy an asshole. But the result of this will most likely lead to a breakdown in teamwork and you guys losing the game. You can talk to the guy and try to explain what happened, but more often than not, they're probably just going to yell and swear at you a little bit more. What I propose is a little bit different. Realize that you can't change how others respond to you. Wasting your time getting angry, swearing, or yelling back, it never helps, especially if you're just yelling at the TV or if you're yelling at your controller. You know, think about maybe why that person is so angry. Maybe they've lost 3 games in a row. Maybe they need to take a break from the game. Think about the possible reasons why they may be responding to you this way. It can help you build empathy. So empathy is, it's not feeling bad for somebody, it's understanding how they feel. So it's gaining understanding of how somebody else feels. It's different than sympathy. Sympathy is when you feel bad for someone. Empathy is when you understand how they feel. Also, you know, you may not win the game. I'm not going to say that if you do this, you know, you're going to all of a sudden be the perfect team, and you're going to cooperate and you're going to work together. But what it's going to do is it's going to give you a better experience. You're going to be less angry. And really, at the end of the day, if all else fails, just mute the damn guy and leave the game if you have to. All right? So, how do you calm down? Pretty similar to what we've already talked about, but, you know, breathing exercises. So, back to the mindfulness meditation I've been talking about. So, it's taking those deep, deep breaths where you pull all the air down deep into your stomach. You want to clear your mind and you want to just focus on the breathing. If your mind wanders, just bring it back to your breathing. Whatever you have to do, and trust me, like, as you get better at doing it, it will completely calm you down and help you chill out. Take a break from the computer, go outside. Nature has amazing benefits. You know, depending how, you know, severe your illness is, you could potentially get off medication just by going outside and experiencing nature. Find humor in anything. Laugh, meditate, challenge your own assumptions about the world. So research has stated, so these are some different games that can help you with anger. Proteus is a meditative, engrossing experience that slows you down and puts you in a better headspace. Euro Truck Simulator is a slow and restful experience, like taking a Sunday drive. Gang Beasts, if you guys have seen this, like, this game is amazing. I love this game. It's cathartic as hell. Yeah, you're just these, like, jelly monsters, and you just slap each other around, and it's great. And also Just Cause 2, also cathartic, and basically you're channeling all your destruction into creativity. So that's pretty awesome. So, what now? So if you guys are interested, I would highly recommend you Google mindful meditation. Learn to be more self-aware of your symptoms. Prioritize yourself and your happiness. You are number one. Nothing else is important. Your happiness is number one for you and should always be. Reach out to someone else. Seek professional help if you need it. Exercise, eat right, and get outside. So just to give you guys an idea of the sources that I used to put this presentation together, takethis.org is one of the main websites I used. I've also done charity streams to promote for them. Showmethescience.com is that's Jane McGonigal's website, who made Super Better. And then any of her TED Talks, if you just Google her, and actually if you Google gaming TED Talks, there's actually a lot of interesting ones on there. Really cool stuff about the brain and anxiety, BC. I also want to say a special thank you to the contributors, Miss Geeky Lulu, Chikari, and Ruthven, for their input. So thank you all for attending. If anybody has any questions, I am going to be switching to Overwatch, so you're more than welcome to ask questions while I'm playing.